Hey guys, today I'm going to be reviewing the book The White Princess by Philippa Gregory. To be honest, this was not my favorite story, or the favorite novel in this Wars of the Roses series, her Cousin's War series. Okay, what the book's about, it gets kind of confusing. Okay, basically, this book starts right after the Battle of Bosworth, which was the last big battle in what would be known as the Cousins' War, a 3-decade-long war between the houses, the Royal House of Lancaster and the Royal House of York. And the battle is between Richard of York, who's the York heir, and Henry Tudor, who is the Lancaster heir, and Richard is killed at the Battle of Bosworth, and the crown is literally picked up off of the battlefield and given to Henry Tudor. And this story is told from the point of view of Elizabeth of York, who is part of the York dynasty, a York royal family, and she marries the Lancaster heir, who is Henry Tudor, so that peace can be gained after 3 decades of war in England. And Elizabeth of York is King Henry VIII's mother, and the book, what basically is going on, I'm just going to explain it the best way I can. A lot of people, this is just history talking, a lot of people did not see Henry Tudor as the correct heir to the throne. They want someone else. They want the Yorks back in power. And because Elizabeth is part of the York dynasty, or the York, I want to say dynasty, the family, she sometimes is not trusted. She's not trusted by Henry VII or his mother, who is the mother-in-law from hell, Margaret Beaufort. Margaret Beaufort really kind of takes charge of the court, and she's treated like a queen when Elizabeth of York is the Queen of England. Now, that's basically what this story is about, and there are a few people that stand up and say, it's kind of a mystery, that say, I am the rightful claimant to the York throne, and, a lot of people say that Henry Tudor should be usurped and the York should take power. It's kind of confusing. But it didn't confuse me, but explaining it now is really kind of confusing. What I liked about the book, I loved seeing a novel written in the point of view of Elizabeth of York, because not much is known about her. There's really, she didn't have any political influence or any of that. She was basically, just basically your Middle Ages queen, but she was a very kind woman and generous to her family and her servants and all of that. And Henry VIII, who was her son, actually absolutely adored his mother in history, and really until the day he died, like when she died, he was just devastated. He loved his mother so much, and she was a good, generous person. She was known as Elizabeth the Good. And I, what was I going to say? And I thought it was written, I thought it was written okay. I guess because there's not a lot known about Elizabeth of York, it was kind of difficult to what is it? It's kind of just guesswork in a way, because she didn't have any influence. Now on to what I didn't like about the book. It seems that Philippa Gregory, she really loves, it seems like in her books, she really loves to, like, kind of harp on about how women were treated. And in a lot of her books, and she did this in Taming of the Queen too, she has these very gruesome sex scenes. They're just horrendous. And it's like, okay, Philippa, we get it. It's women, if your husband had sex with you, it wasn't considered rape. We get it. Like, and she does it a lot in her books. And also, another thing I didn't like was the marriage between Henry and Elizabeth was not portrayed as a good one. It's just flip-flopping all over the place. Like, first he loves her, but then he can't trust her, because he is a paranoid king. In history, a lot of people don't think he shouldn't be king, and so he is paranoid, but he just flip-flops back and forth between love and first I hate you, and you're just, you're siding with the Yorks, but he's like almost bipolar. It's just crazy. But in reality, even though this was a political marriage, in history, they had a really good relationship. When Elizabeth dies, again, this isn't in the book, this is just history. When Elizabeth dies, giving birth to another child, he was devastated. He was absolutely devastated. But here it kind of was like he wouldn't have cared either way if she would have died. And so that was kind of good, because you could have really done something with that marriage, that the real story, the real political, and said something like, oh, well, we finally have peace in the kingdom, or something like that. But it's just not done as well. Now, overall, this wasn't my favorite. Even when I read it the first time, it wasn't my favorite. And, but if you're into this series, and you like the series so far, like if you read something and you like the series, I would finish it. I was glad that I did read it to see what she thought. But overall, this wasn't my favorite in the Tudor, in the Cousins War series. But it wasn't my least favorite, but it just wasn't as good as some of her others, like her previous ones. And that's all I have to say about this review. Please like, subscribe, and share my videos. Bye, guys.